Give it some time and he'll come crawling back like always. Back in college, you had brought Wen Wanking food every single day, and Liu Feifei had benefited plenty from those meals too. She was one of the few people who could actually see the dynamic clearly. She hesitated before speaking. Honestly, I think you're the one who messed up this time. Always hanging around Chen Ziang is one thing, but blowing off your own engagement party for him. How is that any different from slapping Lin Zhou in the face in front of everyone? I needed to break him down. Make him fall in line. He loves me, doesn't he? Wen Wanking was the kind of person who never tolerated anyone pushing back on her. Shen Xingyan had come downstairs in a light sleep set, completely forgetting that there was a man in the living room in the middle of preparing herbal medicine. You just froze. And after a long flustered pause, looked away with a red face. Why did you come down dressed like that? It's not like you didn't see everything that night. Now you're getting shy. Shen Xingyan picked up one of the herbs off the table without a care. You're sick? You need this stuff. This is for a medicinal bath. It's good for the body. You poured the prepared mixture straight into a tub already filled with warm water, and watched it turn a deep murky black right before her eyes. It looked a little unsettling, honestly. You glanced over at Shen Xingyan, who had followed you in, full of curiosity. Why are you still standing there? You want to watch me bathe? But Shen Xingyan kept that same calm expression. You get out. I'm going first, and this entire villa is mine, so everything in it is mine too, including you. Now out, I'm taking a bath. You stared at Shen Xingyan, who had just shoved you out the door, completely at a loss. You had prepared the same thing for Wen Wanking before, but she had always said it was too dirty. You shook your head, and went to mix another batch for yourself. Half an hour later, Shen Xingyan finally emerged from the bathroom. Her fair cheeks flushed a soft pink. The skin on her arms noticeably smoother than before. She had to admit the medicinal bath beat half the luxury skincare products she had tried. She looked over at you with a satisfied but complaining tone. Not bad, little Lin. Didn't expect you to actually be useful. Prepare a fresh medicinal bath for me every day from now on, before you could even refuse. She had already turned and headed back upstairs. Wen Wanking had been gone for several days. Her father Wen Zhenbang had assumed she was with you, but today her younger brother let slip. She had been with Chen Ziang this whole time. Wen Zhenbang's face was pure disappointment. He laid into Wen Wanking the moment she walked through the door. If you think you're too good for this family, then get out right now. Wen Wanking bit her lip and was about to fire back, when Wen Zhenbang suddenly grabbed his head and collapsed to the ground in pain. Wen Wanking rushed over to help him up, in a full panic. She grabbed her phone and called you. Lin Zhou, my dad's head pain is back. Get over here now. A long silence on the other end. Then your calm voice came through. Why is that my problem? I'm not your family's personal caretaker, and I'm not a doctor on call either. If someone is sick, they go to a hospital. If the hospital can't help, then start making arrangements. And with that, you hung up. Shen Xingyan was sitting next to you eating chips, watching TV. She tilted her head and looked at you. That was the exit. You nodded, and she continued, block her number. I don't want you having any contact with her going forward. You're mine now, understand? You had plenty you wanted to say, but you went ahead and deleted every way to reach Wen Wanking. You had just forgotten to do it earlier anyway. You side-eyed the heiress sitting there crunching on chips. Aren't you the president of a whole company? Shouldn't you be at the office? I have people to run things for me. The whole point of being at the top is knowing how to delegate. If you're grinding away with no time to breathe, what's the point of being at the top at all? I'm thirsty, go get me some water. You stared at her in disbelief as she ordered you around like it was the most natural thing in the world. You gave a blank look and scoffed. Get it yourself. Your arm's broken, your leg's broken. Shen Xingyan raised her voice and called out toward the door. Within seconds, two massive figures pushed into the room. Miss, what do you need? The words you were about to shout died in your throat, and you shot over to the water cooler, filled a cup as fast as you could, and held it out with a nervous smile. Your water, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. You should be calling me wife. Shen Xingyan gave a light huff and waved the bodyguards out. Just then your uncle called. I'm out of the military. I'll be in the city in 2 days. A couple of old friends are coming with me. They've got some health issues. Get yourself ready. If they have health issues, they should see a doctor. You hadn't even finished your sentence when he cut you off. Stop playing dumb. I know you've been quietly practicing the Lin family 9 needles this whole time. Alright, that's all. We'll talk more when I get there. You put your phone down with a resigned sigh. The Lin family 9 needles were a treasured technique passed down through your bloodline. Your parents had built their entire reputation on it. You had been forced to practice it since childhood, and just as firmly warned never to use it carelessly. You had barely sat back down when your phone rang again. Good lord, so many calls today, you picked up with a tired sigh. Little Joe, where are you right now? A big job just came in. Talking $1 million payout. On the other end was the contact who sourced rare and difficult medical cases for you. I need to step out for a bit. Don't wait on me for lunch. You let Shen Xingyan know and then headed out. The moment you were gone, Shen Xingyan waved Mrs. Zhang over with a conspiratorial look. Mrs. Zhang, do you know how to make someone fall for you? Tell me everything. Shen Xingyan grabbed Mrs. Zhang's arm and shook it eagerly. Mrs. Zhang laughed and gently steadied her, and gave her advice with complete seriousness. Mister, there's an old saying. A man chasing a woman is like climbing a mountain. A woman chasing a man is just stepping through a curtain. If you want to win Mr. Lin over, you need to be the one who makes a move. Otherwise, a man as exceptional as Mr. Lin, if you keep dragging your feet, someone else will swoop in before you know it. Okay, but what exactly do I do? Shen Xingyan furrowed her brow, completely at a loss. Her romantic experience was essentially zero, which was exactly why she was asking Mrs. Zhang in the first place. Honestly, her first instinct was to just tie you down, and if you refused to date her, smack some sense into you until you agreed. She was pretty sure she had heard somewhere that some men actually enjoyed that kind of thing. Oh, that's simple, Mrs. Zhang leaned in and said with a grin. Miss, You've already been with Mr. Lin, so why are you still sleeping in separate rooms? Even if you put 2 beds in one room, give it enough time and Mr. Lin will come around on his own. Shen Qingyan's expression shifted to one of pure curiosity. Meanwhile, you had already followed old Chen to a private hospital. This one's a tricky case. Seems like hereditary migraines. No one's been able to figure out the root cause. They've been to every hospital you can think of. Cost a lot to finally get to me. Your expression went a little strange. You couldn't help thinking about the call from Wen Wanqing that morning. The world isn't that small. There's no way it's a coincidence. But when Wen Wanqing looked up and saw you push open the door, her face immediately went cold. Linzhou, what are you doing here? I don't need you anymore. Old Chen, who had set this up, was visibly confused. Wait, you two know each other. You gave an indifferent shrug. This is the ex I mentioned. Small world. Hearing your exchange, and putting it together with your family background, Wen Wanqing connected the dots almost immediately. You're the one they call the ghost needle, Mr. Lin. Wen Wanqing's mother, Zhou Manyan, and brother Wen Mingxuan were also thrown off. They had always assumed you were just a regular college student, maybe with a little knowledge of medicine. And an uncle with some connections. Nobody expected you to be capable of this. Just then Wen Jinbang on the hospital bed let out a weak cough. Zhou Manyan turned to you urgently. Little Zhou, please take a look at him. He had a terrible headache and then it got worse. Ma'am, please watch what you call me. You stood with your hands behind your back. Standing in the doorway, voice flat, Wen Wanqing and I are done. I'm here strictly as a paid professional. With that you turned and called out to Old Chen. Old Chen knew exactly what you meant. He rubbed his hands together with a cheerful smile. Ms. Wen, our policy is payment upfront before treatment. Of course, if there are no results, full refund guaranteed. Wen Wanqing's eyes went wide. Now that she knew you were the so-called ghost needle, she absolutely did not want to pay. She had already burned through plenty of money on Chen Ziang. And $1 million was not a small number. Linzhou, are you really this cold-hearted? Can't you show a little decency? Heal my father? And I'll take you back right now. We can hold the engagement ceremony tomorrow. I mean it, I'm not joking. Wen Wanqing finished with a self-satisfied look. The response she got was you staring at her like she'd lost her mind. Ms. Wen, there is nothing between us anymore. If you're not willing to pay, then find someone else. But I will say this, given your father's condition, he doesn't have much time. Linzhou, you piece of trash, and how dare you say something like that? Wen Mingxuan had 0 patience left, and launched a flying kick straight at you. In that split second, a hand shot out and pulled both you and Old Chen cleanly out of the way, and then sent a kick right back. Wen Mingxuan let out a sharp cry and went flying. Rolling across the floor, clutching his leg, by the time everyone recovered, there was a massive figure standing in front of you, unmistakably one of the bodyguards who traveled with Shen Qingyan. You pointed at him in complete disbelief. What the hell, Bok? How are you here? Did you seriously follow me? Ahu pulled his foot back, and stood there immovable as an iron tower.